First, let's start with the beginning, the start of a different fate. G'day everyone. Ever heard of the Forgotten War? That's what many folks back in the West call the Korean War. But for those on the peninsula, it's far from forgotten. It's a living history. After the joy of liberation in 1945, the Cold War divided the land at the 38th parallel. Then, at 4 a.m. on June 25, 1950, all hell broke loose. The North charged down with Soviet T-34 tanks, and the South's forces had to face that steel storm with basically their bare hands. Talk about a rough start, eh? Moving on to part 2, crisis and decision at the Pusan perimeter. In just 3 days, Seoul fell. A month later, almost the whole country was overrun. Our blokes and the UN forces were pushed back to a tiny corner called the Pusan perimeter. It was stand or die. If they gave up an inch, it was game over. Even school kids swapped their pens for rifles. It was a bloody tough time, but because they held the line, they gave us a fighting chance to turn the tide.
Now for the third part, the masterstroke of the Inchon landing and the push north. September 15th, 1950. General MacArthur pulls off a real beauty of a move, the Inchon landing. Experts reckon the odds were 5,000 to 1 against it, but it worked. It cut the enemy right in half. By September 28th, Seoul was back in our hands. The UN troops pushed all the way up to the Yalu River. It looked like the whole thing was going to be sorted and we'd be home for tea. But no worries turned into big worries real quick. Then came the fourth chapter, the massive wave of Chinese intervention and the miracle at Hungnam. Out of nowhere, hundreds of thousands of Chinese troops poured over the border, a literal human wave. It was time to bolt. During this retreat, we saw a proper miracle at Hungnam. The Meredith Victory dumped all its weapons to rescue 14,000 refugees, absolute legends. But by January 51, Seoul was lost again and it became a long, grinding slog.
Fifth, we look at the silent war, the brutal hill battles and the Armistice. For the next 2 years, it was a brutal war of the hills. Names like White Horse Hill and Heartbreak Ridge, absolute carnage just to move the border by a few metres. While the big bosses talked peace in the back, young blokes were losing their lives for every inch of dirt. Finally, on July 27, 1953, the Armistice was signed. The guns went silent after 1,129 days. But it wasn't a full peace, just a long, uneasy smoko that lasts to this day. And finally, to wrap things up, a rose from the rubble. After the war, the place was a total shambles. Foreign journos said you'd have better luck finding a rose in a trash heap than seeing Korea recover. But Struth, look at it now. Korea went from needing a hand to giving a hand to the rest of the world. We remember this today not just for the history books, but to honour the diggers and soldiers who gave everything. Our job now is to make sure those guns never fire again and work towards a real, lasting peace. Cheers for listening, mates.